Yesterday's watch review today. Now, this is kind of silly of me because this isn't, I don't know, just talking about watches, but this isn't a model that I don't think anyone's ever going to find. Anyway, I've been sort of interested in, I got sort of more interested in so many of the 60s style divers, the 62 MAS style divers. And I saw this watch on eBay, well, I don't know, a month and something ought to go, and it was so battered and beaten up. But there's something about it I really liked. I liked the handset especially. I liked the text of the name, and I'd never heard of it before. So I figured, what the heck, I'd get it. So I got it, and with a lot of work, I restored this watch. I was delighted when it showed up because it actually showed up running, despite the fact this thing had a smashed crystal and was clearly water damaged. Anyway, there it is now. This is this was a fun restoration. It was missing the crown tube, the crystal, the entire insert bezel here. Yeah, it's cracked, but like all the paint on the inside. This is clear plastic and it's painted on the back side, so I restored all that. And I went with more of a Tropic vintage loom. But I really liked the handset. I thought the handset was really actually kind of neat. That it was just basic telling time, and then it had the big arrow here for the minute hand and then the big lollipop. I just thought it was elegant. And I was amazed. I didn't know what was in it. The seller didn't have any real information. There's somebody who sells junk watches out of like Florida or something. And he didn't really have anything on this at all. So I had no idea what was underneath the hood. I saw that it was Swiss made, so I had hoped that it would be a decent Swiss movement. And when it showed up, it was an ETA 2472, which is, it's a low beat movement. It's 18,000 BPH, but it's a good quality movement. And after servicing, this thing is beautiful. It doesn't have a quick set or anything else like that, but it's pretty neat. This watch lived a hard life. Hard life. It belonged to someone named Jorge Miranda Dominguez. It's from the 1960s. And somebody just was really working to try to get the case back off. But it's a sub 007. Sub 007. And it's got sort of a series of like serial numbers or some kind of maker mark down here that I doesn't make any sense to me. But part of the reason I'm making this video is sort of a plea for information, because I don't know I can't find any references to this model online, in any case. But talking about it being a 62 MAS clone, or copy, or similar piece, you can definitely see the lineage. I mean, they went some different ways. They had this clear inlay that was painted from the back. They had completely different, though, in unique handset and dial, which is nice. A lot of these 60s divers have really weird, cheap-looking handsets, but these are actually really nice, and they're unique, which is, to my mind anyway, they look unique, and I think that they're just sort of, cool. But in terms of its dimensions, it's very, very, very similar to the 62 MAS. Yeah, these are Arley. I can't find anything about them. Doesn't mean that there isn't information out there, but I can't find anything. I found one other Arley online at Chrono24, an old sales post for a similar model with a brown dial and this, like, what is this, a calculator bezel? Or is this a calendar? I don't know. But I see, I mean, because I had to make do with whatever I could in order to replace that crown, but because the crown tube itself was gone, but the crown tube was threaded. So what I decided to do, because I couldn't find this big crown, I could find no data on it at all. What I actually ended up doing was putting a 5.3 millimeter Rolex twin lock in it. So this actually has a twin lock, and has the case seals in the back of this thing. Well, this watch was just hideously abused, and when I got it, it was somebody had worn the heck out of the thing, and it had just been abused. But this is a chunk of the caseback seal of this watch. The caseback seal is 2 millimeters thick. You can see the rust on it, though. It took me a long time to get these chunks out. The sealing surfaces are decent. I would, of course, never, ever, ever put it near water ever again, but it's pretty cool. One thing that's nice too is that did come out well is that after I cleaned the dial, it got this sort of gold tropic patina to the top surface. It's the clear coat on the top of the dial. Got this kind of gold flake look to it, which I thought was neat. And I've been wearing this watch pretty much exclusively since I finished it. I just think it's a nice watch. And because I also think it's cool because it's, as far as I know, darn unique. It's pretty unique. I've never heard of or seen another one of this at all. The Arley Sub 007. Funky piece. If you know anything more about these, if you have any more information, if you have one, please contact me. I'd like to know more about them. The Arley Sub 007. I would show you the movement, but I don't really feel like opening this watch up, because if I open up a watch, I have to then I have to test it again to put it back in again. It's the same size as this one. I think it's 38 millimeters, but it's very comfortable and it keeps excellent time. Very, very accurate. Very accurate piece. I'm sort of torn on the name, but I would have to do some serious casework to do this. I wish I had some way to minimize the look of these horrible scratches that whoever this idiot was who did this damage to the back. I wish I had some way to sort of polish those, or at least minimize the look of them. The indicator ring is very 60s style in that it just spins, and it has a retaining spring, just like the same exact technology. But the fact that it's got an ETA 2472 in it really actually kind of makes it a real watch. It's not a throwaway piece. This thing was quite decent for its time and a very, very reliable movement. And the nice thing is that it can be worn all the time because it has a movement for which parts are easily available. Anyway, that's about it. I wish I had a quick set on the date. It doesn't. You have to go back and forth over midnight. And I got this a day forward, and I didn't want to have to mess with the Canon Pinion too much, so I'm going to wait until February clicks over, and then I'll forward it to where it needs to be. Anyway, so that's the thing. If anybody knows anything more about these, if anybody has one, please let me know. I would love to know more. Okay, thank you much for watching this silly video about a watch that no one will ever see. Okay, bye-bye.